our regular legal analyst, Barrister Vincent Otakupu, is here with us. Thank you very much, Barrister Vincent.
Thank you for having me.
He's not the only one here to talk on what we will expect as political parties gear up for campaigns starting from 28th of September 2022. I have with me Comrade Eragbe Anslem. Comrade Anslem is the National Youth Leader, Labour Party, and is also a candidate. He's also in the race. The senatorial candidate, Edo North, is also in the race. Thank you so much, Comrade, for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure to be here.
I appreciate it. Now, Comrade, let me start with you, because we have seen some campaigns. You may say is awareness creation, because even your party is also guilty of it. I've seen so many political parties going out to do one or two things, but what would you call that as a politician? What would you call that?
Well, thank you, fellow Nigerians. Eragbe Anslem, National Youth Leader, Labour Party, the Edo North senatorial candidate of the Labour Party for the 2023 general elections. Certainly, since the commencement of political activities, with effect from April this year, 2022, in line with the INEC schedule of activities. It's obvious, of course, when you engage in the schedule of activities for electioneering purposes, you don't keep quiet. Basically, there are a lot of display. Because why? In conforming with these processes, you make yourself available, your party is available, you begin the conscientization works in line with the processes. But basically, campaigns have not begun. Of course, you have seen a lot of activities in line with parties' actions.
So
but what we have had,
that?
obviously, is to a large extent, other than our preparations for the primaries towards the emergence of the candidates, list for which the INEC will make public, like the chairman said, on the 20th of this month, effectively, for national elections, the presidency, the senatorial candidate, and the members' House of Representatives. What we have done up to date is basically to comply with those processes. Going for primaries, winning primaries or losing primaries, filing the activities before the INEC as by way of entry, the reports of elections into the INEC database. There are a lot of petitions here and there, because where there are infractions, of course, Nigerians are eligible to making such petitions to court. Then, above all, activities of support groups. Of course, these activities are not, they are not political parties. They are sympathizers of candidates. So far so good. They have been able to showcase their own interest with respect to the candidates that have emerged, like, for instance, the respective presidential candidates. Because all the activities we have seen in line with political actions have been borne by these support groups. So we may commend them, as it were, as a political party operators.
So it is support groups doing
those are support group structures.
You have not started campaign.
No, we have not started
That's a new style of campaigning anyway. Because I see almost all the political parties doing the same thing. In July, I think so, July 26, President Muhammadu Buhari submitted names of resident electoral commissioners, 19 of them, to the Senate for screening. And just on Friday here, last Friday, a group of civil society organizations, not one, not two, released a petition to the president, asking the president to take a look at the character of those that he appointed to be resident electoral commissioners. Some of them card-carrying members of the APC. Some of them are corrupt. So, and somebody like you, who is already in the ballot, going to the polls, and your party is obvious in the ballot too. How would you see such a thing, that you are going into an election and the person who will collect, or who is in charge of, who is the face of the INEC chairman, is a partisan person, not of your political party? Does that sound right?
Well, basically, the laws are clear on these issues. In the case of INEC, Resident Electoral Commission of INEC, the law prescribes that such persons should not be a card-carrying member of a political party.
Yes.
That is on the one hand. But on the other hand, you know, the President of the Federal Republic is not a magician, really. What I mean by that is to say, normally he takes recommendation from those who should recommend persons for him to occupy those offices. Again, but of course, there should be a way of identifying these persons in line with what the law provides. Are these persons card-carrying members of political party? Now, we need to go the extra mile at the level of the presidency. They need to do this. Find out from the history and antecedents of these persons. Do they belong to political parties? Are they card-carrying members? So all of this, I think there are institutions within the executive arm of government, the DSS and the whole rest of them, should be able to give the executive certain measure of information to the extent of the rules contained in the laws about these persons, whether or not they are card-carrying members. Again, should the president, in the event of time, probably found out that these persons, one or two, are card-carrying members, the normal thing to do, or the legal thing, is to relieve those persons of such appointment. Because that's the proper thing to do.
Okay, but as it is now, let's go political, because
Yes.
you are a member of a political party. As it is now, they have been appointed, waiting for Senate confirmation. Once the National Assembly resumes from their recess, the first thing I am very sure that they will do is to take a look at that list, because the civil society groups have already been screaming. They went to do their investigation, and they found out that some of them were some of them have corruption allegations. They say they have proofs. On 2 occasions, we interviewed some of them, members of the civil society group. Some of them are card-carrying members of APC. One of them is a relative of the deputy national chairman, APC, I think
Southeast.
One of the Southeast. So these are information that the civil society group say they have proof. If it has to go to court, they do have proof. No, we are looking at the implication of this during election. As a politician, how would you feel that the person that will count your votes, or the person that is in charge of those collating or in charge of the entire election, is a member of a political party that is in the same race with you?
Well, basically, there is the right thing to do always. Again, it will be inappropriate for a party man, a card-carrying member of a political party, to be an INEC commissioner at that level, because one, the law forbids it. Two, the civil societies have done well. 2 aspects. One, having identified that this person or these persons are card-carrying members of political parties. 2, having corruption issues surrounding them. These are weighty issues. Now, what needs to be done is to be fair and square. It doesn't matter whether they have been screened. So long as investigation reveals that one, these persons are card-carrying member, they need to be excused, even if they have been recommended for appointment. The president will need, the Senate obviously will need to resign its own decision. Peradventure, they have been screened and passed. So they need to be rejected. 2, the anti-graft agencies, of course, they must have evidence or evidences of the fact that these persons before now had been accused. There must have been petitioned before the anti-graft agencies, the EFCC, the ICPC. Some of these facts could be caught. So where it is proven that these persons have allegation charges against them, for God's sake,
they have to go to jail.
Well, the aspect of the jail will come when the court
decides. Okay.
Because this is a threefold issues now.
Okay.
I think what we need to do obviously is to, again, as always, on the side of the law, first and foremost, put our feet on the ground, having the right information. We need to resist this kind of appointment in the interest of protection of the entire process. Because, like you have opined, this process will amount to futility if in the long run, Mr. A won an election, legitimately, ideally, for this reason, and the court upturns the election because there was a petition. So we need to avoid certain issues ahead of time. Okay. Again, I'm aware, I may not be able to cite the right section of law now, but I think there are certain cases that are not tenable after certain activities. Probably there are pre-election cases and post-election cases. So we need to be careful where these issues and know exactly where they apply.
Comrade, wow, I need to get you back because we have to talk real politics.
Very well.
We really need to talk real politics. Comrade Eragbe Anslem, the National Youth Leader, Labour Party, and is also a candidate for the 2023 election in Edo State, senatorial candidate.